And we are live. Hello, everybody. I'm glad to be here in our Ask channel to talk today about be a better Java developer, learn faster, and get more result with my good and close friend Bruno Souza. So, if you're new here, please join us on YouTube channel and check it out about us at sgeek.io. And to talk a little bit about us, I will bring here in the stage Hita. Hello, Hita. How are you today?
Hello, Otávio. I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm fine. So I'm glad to be here with you. But first, please let us know what is XGeeks?
Okay, it's a great question. So first of all, hello everyone that is listening or seeing us and spending their bits of their day with us. So thank you so much. Before that, I'm Rita. I work at Geeks and I'm part of the People Experience team. So it's quite exciting to be here talking to the world what Geeks is all about. To give you a bit of context, Geeks is a KI group company that works from Portugal and Germany. We're an engineering company focused on producing or providing capacity to product companies that are looking for challenge-driven product engineering knowledge. Pretty much what we do is we build solutions through software. Our teams are currently growing, and we're hiring all sorts of engineering positions from data to Java, namely Java. And I think it comes in handy that we're here talking and that Bruno will also give us a great overview of what being a Java developer is. And pretty much, if you would like to work or to get into an interesting company in which you have a pretty cool team of engineers and also you work with impactful and challenging products, I think that would be a good trigger to drop us a message, and we're happy to explain you a bit of what life at XGeeks is. But I can give you some sneak peeks, namely that it's exciting, fast-paced, full of learning, and quite fulfilling, I would say. And this is it, Otávio. Do you think I introduced XGeeks well?
Wow, it was very very well. Okay, thank you, Bruno, to remember me. Yes. Beside the XGeeks channel, we are also in the BR Java Man YouTube channel and LinkedIn. So say hi to everybody. That's amazing to be with you to talk about career and about Java because we love both. And as we make sure ethics are looking for it as well. So also we're gonna talk about career. Let's bring someone who is special and helps a lot of people with their career. So Bruno Souza, known as Java Man, he is the first guy to know Java even before Java. He is executive member of the JCP. So if you hate Java so much, blame him. He is the guy who defined how the Java group works. Um, he's Apache committer right now. He helps also Apache NetBeans to get shape. He helped Java EE and he helped Java SE, Java ME. He was the first person to be individual to be executive committer in the JCP. I'm becoming a little bit tired. It's like 1 hour of resume, and he has an amazing history about Android because he was part of the Android history. So I guess Oracle should process him as well. With you guys, Bruno Souza, the BR Java man.
Yay.
Hey everyone. Hey Otávio. Hello Rita. How are you doing?
Hello.
Everyone watching us here. So good to have you here. Now I can see people know from on the X Geeks channel, on the BR Java Man channel. It's so good to have you here. Otávio is such a good friend. Introduced me in such an awesome way. I wish everything that he said was true. I think,
But it is
a little
true.
bit, a little tiny help with those things, but that's great. So thanks everyone. It's awesome to be here with you. I think it's great that you guys are doing a great work on helping companies and startups to implement their products and implement their systems. And for me, I think one of the best things that we developers can do is actually participate on those entrepreneurships options, because once we are working on the startups, on helping people create new ideas, we are helping people solve problems, right? And for me, the top skill of a developer is to solve problems, and nothing better than solving new problems, right? So startups are great for that. So awesome to be here. And if you're watching this on my channel, thanks for being here. I'm not monitoring everything, all the channels, right? But I'm monitoring the YouTube channel. So if you are on my YouTube channel, please go ahead and ask questions there, because I'm going to be monitoring that, and Otávio is going to be monitoring the other places. So.
Oh, that's amazing. I'm just sharing the tweet again. 1 second here. Okay, by the way, if there is any question, please let us know. But before start, Bruno, I love that history about the Android. Do you mind if you share to us just a little bit? Because you're the guy behind the Android, kind of, at least.
Well, no, not really, right? So actually, there's a lot of as any technology, right? There's so many people involved. It's hard to say, to say that I'm on anything. But the reality is, and I never participated on the Android project, never working on it, but I was part of the process that created the Harmony project at Apache, right? So when Sun updated the TCK license, allowing for us to have, because a lot of people don't understand that, but Java was released in 1995 with with full source code available, right? And it was not open source at the time, right? In 1995, and the reason why it was not open source because there's no open source in 1995, right? We had open source licenses, but the definition of open source did not exist. Actually, the open source initiative was only formed in 1998 with the definition of open source, right? So Java was released as, with code available. It was not a free software because you did not conform with the free software definitions, right? But it was not open source either because open source was not invented until 3 years later, right? So, and because of that, Java had this long history of having this very big license from Sun that prevented a lot of things, but also allowed a lot of things. The Java community was built on top of the source code. We had access to the full source code of the Java VM and of the Java APIs from the very beginning, from the very get-go. So that was very, very interesting to do. And so when the open source movement starts to catch up, right, starting in 1998, and around 2000, right? I mean, like just 2 years after the definition of open source showed up, we started the discussion about how we could actually have Java being like fully open source, right? And with that, we started discussion in Brazil, and in the event FISLE, the International Free Software event. We brought lots of people from everywhere around the world to come and discuss that, and we had that discussion for several years. So in around 2004, we had a big event in Brasilia, right? And on that event, we brought people from Apache, we brought people from Sun, we brought people from IBM, and from the free software movement, we brought people from different open source VMs, right? So we had people from Kafka, from ClassPath. We had all those people in Brasilia, right, discussing what was possible to do, right? Especially discussing the new licensing of the TCK, because Sun had just changed the license of the TCK, allowing for a free open source Java VM to be certified, right? And so at that event, with a good friend of mine, Geir Magnussen, there was the president of Apache at that time. So at that event, I don't think he was the president of Apache. I think he was definitely the representative of Apache in the JCP. I don't think he was the president of Apache. I think I got that wrong. But anyway, Geir Magnussen was responsible for the Java discussion inside Apache. And at that event, we discussed the idea of Apache having a free software version of Java. And that's how Harmony got started, right? So Harmony was launched a few months later. and lots of people participated on that project. I was one of the guys that signed the letter to Apache asking for Apache to start the Harmony project. And I think that's what Otávio kind of says, that I had a participation on Android, because Harmony was the basis later on for the Android version of Java. And so, but anyway, I think that's I think the biggest thing that happened with that was that we actually showed it was viable to create a completely free, free software implementation of Java, and that helped push Sun to release Java as the OpenJDK in 2006, right? Like 2 years later, and once Sun released Java, we started the OpenJDK project. Then Java finally, right, after so many years, Java finally became open source, right, because he had an open source license, and free software, because the license was the GPL license that was also a free software. So it took a few years of work, right? We started very soon, right, in 2000. It took a few years of work. Lots of people in the community participated in that effort. It was a lot of great discussions to get to that point, and I'm very glad that we did that, right? Because that was 2006. So 2009, and interesting enough, Otávio, I came back to Sun. In 2006, and I did say I came back to Sun exactly when Sun open source Java, right? So I only came back because Sun open source Java. And so, and then 2009, as you all know, Oracle acquired Sun, right? And, Oracle has done amazing things for Java, has increased the value of the OpenJDK project, has increased the participation of the OpenJDK project. Oracle really embraced the OpenJDK project. But, there was an executive from Oracle at the time that did say, in a Java Champions meetup, he did say, look, Oracle would never open source Java, but since it's already open source, we're going to make the best of it. So that's exactly what they did, right? So they did a lot of great stuff for the OpenJDK project. But if we had not open sourced Java in 2006, maybe Java would never be open source, right? So I think it was the timing was right. I think that the effort it was right, and a lot of people in companies, a lot of people inside Sun, like Simon Phipps and Denise Cooper, and so many other people inside Sun was working on that. James Gosling came to Brazil in that year, 2004, right? So James Gosling actually had a great discussion with Dalibor Topic. He was the maintainer of the Cafe VM. And so they two discussed at the same event, at the same discussion we're talking about. James Gosling, Matt Dalibor Topic, and they discussed about the open sourcing of Java. And today, Dalibor Topic is the community manager for OpenJDK. I mean, so everything kind of joined together at that event in 2004. The event was called Café Brazil, right? Brazilian coffee, right? So it's called Café Brazil. It happened in Brasilia, the city I was born. So that was awesome. And so that's like a long story, Otávio, but you said very short, but I couldn't make it short.
Yeah, that's the way. By the way, Bruno has an amazing experience in the Java world and also to help career. So follow him in Twitter. So BR Java Man. And about XKicks, so we have several opportunities. We will provide several materials to help you in your career, and maybe you can join us in the company. And besides that, we are 3 followers to go to become 100 followers. So follow us on Twitter. That's a great number.
All right, yeah. So help them out, right? Follow XGeek on Twitter so they can go above 100, right? So come on, let's do this, right? I see Max here. Hey, Max. Hello, good to see you here. Awesome reference in the Dev Word, so good to see you here. I also see Evandro Gaio. He's here on my channel on YouTube. So hey, Evandro, good that you're here with us. So come on, between the three of us here, right? Between me, I'm gonna follow XGeeks right now. You, Max, you follow XGeeks. Evandro follow XGeeks. So between the three of us, we're gonna get XGeeks to go above 100. So how about that?
Whoa, yeah, that sounds amazing.
All right.
Well, but how do you feel about that? I mean, you are amazing. You're the guy who changed the whole world, and somehow because of open source. And that's amazing, right? Because a lot of people dream to do that. I mean, when you're a child, when you was born, we look to something that can change a lot of stuff, right? We want to change the whole world, and you could do that with the open source world. So because of you, we started a flow, and then become Android, and then become Java as open source, and then become a lot of people, and then you helped a lot of people career as well. So it's a
Well,
fascinating.
yeah, helping people. Look, following people in their careers, Otávio, is a great thing, right? I've we've known each other for a long time, and I saw how you grew in your career. When I met you, Otávio, I'm not sure you can tell that story better than I, right? I went, but when I met you, you were a student, right, at a university in Salvador, right? So you're not the Otávio awesome Java developer you are today, right? So that's great, right? Oh, Max just said, I think I'm the 100 follower, right?
Whoa,
And
we got
yeah,
the number.
Sudapi say just follow. So thanks a lot, Sudapi. That's great, man. Albert Mimiro. Oh, Albert also said I'm the 100 follower. Okay, so Albert's also following you. I see here on his mention. That's great, man. So Hita saying thanks so much, everyone. We are 100 on Twitter now. So cool, yoo-hoo! Yeah. All right. You see, Otávio, let me tell you this, man. I'm this. What just happened here today? I'm this kind of guy, right? For some reason, I join in on the right time. Right? Because if you're like 40 on Twitter, we will not get up to 100 by talking to me, right? But since all you need is chew, I'm this person. I'm the person that right here to push people off the edge and get them to do the next step, right? So that's exactly the kind of thing that I do a lot. That's what I do with my mentees, right? They have awesome careers, but they don't know how to do the next step, right? They just need like a little push to just kind of to explode, right? And so I don't consider myself having changed the world like you said, man. But what I think was awesome to participate. There's one phrase that I hear. I don't know who said that, but he said that don't doubt that a bunch of individuals together can change the world, right? Because in fact, it is the only thing that have ever changed the world is a bunch of individuals banding together. So that's what I see, right? That's what I see on the Java groups. That's what I see in the Java community. That's what I see on the open source community. Is a bunch of individuals like us, right? Like normal people that don't have a lot of time, that they're that are not huge specialists on anything, right? It was just a bunch of people that we get together and we change the world a little bit at a time, right? So me doing my little part helps you do your little part, and together, right, all of us together, we can do a lot of things. So that's what I feel a lot, Otávio. That's what I see with a lot of things, a lot of my career discussion, right? For a lot of people is, they come to me, they start participating on the user group on So Java, for example. They start participating on any user group, or they start participating on the Code for Life community. They start participating on things. And then what happens that because they're doing their part and we're doing our part, right? Lots of good things happen, right? Look, I helped you when you're a student, right? But, everything that you did in your life, it's you doing. You're the one that did it, right? You became a comedian on OpenJDK, right? You travel around the world speaking. You became a Java champion. You became the outstanding JCP award member. Award winner, right? You participated. You launched APIs, right? You created JSRs. You did the first Jakarta EE JSR. Not JSR, right? So what's the name of it?
Specification.
Specification. You did the first Java Jakarta EE specification. So you did all of that things, right? And I'm very honored that I was a little part of that, right? I helped push you in the right direction, so you did all that. So that's what I think, Otávio. When we do things together, we all grow. So it's great for everyone.
Whoa, that's a good one. So, by the way, guys, if you have any questions, that's an amazing opportunity to talk with Bruno Souza, the BR Java man. So,
So Evandro says, hello, Bruno, Java and your name. always part of my professional life. So thanks a lot, Evandro. Love, man. Love that. Thanks a lot, man. Awesome. So yeah, what we want to do here, we want to do very interactive. We want to answer your questions. We want to discuss whatever you want to discuss, right? We're not here to talk about anything specific. I mean, we can talk about lots of different things, right? But we are here to help you on everything you're going on. So ask questions, right? So Kleber, I just say Kleber. Hello, everyone. Thanks, Diego, for the link. So thanks a lot, Kleber. So come here, Kleber. Ask your questions. Rita, Max, Sudapi, Albert, Evandro. We have all those great people. So come here, ask questions. And by the way, if you're watching me on Facebook or on LinkedIn or on Periscope, right? If you're watching on any of those places, there might not. I'm not monitoring those channels, right? So if you want to ask questions, come to YouTube, and maybe that's gonna be cool, right? Because we can answer your question. There is one question here, Otávio, that I think is for you. Mental Wealth says, how can I be more efficient in Java, right? So I'm assuming, how can I be more efficient? Well, there's two questions here, right? How can I be more efficient in Java, right? Like having a Java software is more efficient. And how can I be a more efficient Java developer? We are here to talk about career. So let's think about that side of the question, Otávio. So how can you be a more efficient Java developer? So Otávio, how are you a more efficient Java developer?
Okay. That was one thing that you teach me in the past, and I learned, because when I was a junior developer and I was in the university, I was just looking to the hard skill, because for some reason I just try to ignore the communication skill. And guess what? That's matter a lot, because the communication skill allows me to first find people to help me in several discussion. Meet people to read the code, to do the questions, and know more about how something works internally. So, at my first step as recommendation is, don't forget the soft skill. Also say that practice, practice, and practice. The best analogy that I have on my mind right now is about music, because a good musician is a guy who is able to listen, play, and mix a lot of music and improvise a new one, right? Because improvisation in music is basically you practice a lot, several styles, several partners, and then you will choose one on that moment. So the improvisation is not an improvisation, the real word as well. So to me is exactly what you should do as software engineer. So improve your communication, share what you know, and also you share you will learn first to communicate, and then look to more knowledge, to more stuff to learn, read code and write code.
Right, that's awesome. That's awesome. Okay, so now that you mentioned about sharing, right? I know I'm gonna use this, right? So can I share my screen here, Otávio, for a minute?
Yes.
All right,
As
so I'm gonna
much
share my
time you
screen here.
want.
Yeah. Do I have to share? Okay. Look, can I just choose? Yeah, I can choose a tab here. So I'm gonna share my screen here. So because you mentioned about sharing, right? And I agree with you, Otávio. One of the best skills, right? So Mental Wealth said, how can we be more efficient in Java? So how you can be better in your career in general, Mental Wealth, is that you gotta share. I totally agree with you, Otávio. So one thing I want to do is I want to give you a gift to everyone, right? So that's a book I wrote. It's called The Low Hanging Talks. Those are, it has like 4 plays and 5 tips that you can start speaking right now. You can start sharing your content right now. So you don't need to wait. You don't need to be afraid of it. So I know if you come here, you put your name and email here, what's going to happen is that you're going to get an awesome book for free, right? Completely free. But not only that, you're also going to get an email from me. So you have my contact, and that's going to help me answer the question from Gabrielle, right? So Gabrielle says, how does your mentorship work? So Gabrielle, if you're, I would love to receive feedback or tips about experienced people, right? Okay, so Gabrielle, if you're interested in a mentorship with me, yeah, we can talk about that, right? So how about you send me a Twitter? You can see my Twitter right here, BR Java Man, right? It's right here on my name. So send me a DM. DMs are open. You just send me a DM and say, hey, Bruno, I'd love to talk about your mentorship. And then we can talk about this, Gabriel. And I can tell you. But if you prefer, Gabriel, you can just go here and download the Low Hanging Talks book. And because you're going to get an email from me, and then you can just reply to the email and say, hey, Bruno, now I have your contact. Let's talk. And we can totally talk, Gabriel. No worry. No problem at all. But, I have a lot of people that I mentored during all those years. And I think, I did mentor Otávio somehow, right, Otávio? So a lot of people that I mentored during these years, and I have a lot of them.
You're still doing, Bruno. You're still doing.
I'm still doing, right? Thanks a lot, Otávio. So yeah, sounds like a plan. Okay, I'll DM you. Okay, awesome, Gabriel. That's perfect. Okay, so now, if you want to follow Otávio's advice by sharing, download this Low Hanging Talks book. That's my gift for everyone here. All right. So I'm gonna put these on the chat also, and then Low Hanging Talks. Get the link right there, and download the book. All right. So in terms of being, so mental health kind of said one more thing here, Tal. He said, since 3 years ago, I'm coding in Java, and I'm still feeling like I'm so average, right? How I can go to the next level. So mental health, let me tell you how that works. All right. So I think that's an important discussion we can have here. So let me tell you how that works. I think you can see the board, right? So the way it works, mental health, is first one thing. It is the only way for you to grow your career is about skills. It's not about learning. It's about skills, right? And the skills is like what you said, mental health, is skills. You only get skills by doing. There is no skills by reading or learning, right? You only get skills by doing. So what you're doing, mental health, is that you're coding Java. So you're doing. So that's great. That's exactly what you need to do. You need to do, right? The more you do, the more you code in Java, the better you're going to be. But here, how the process works, right? The process works like this. You got to be better, right? So you got to improve. So when you improve, since the best way to do is doing things, right? When you improve, you get to work on a better project, right? Better projects. Okay? All right? So when you improve, you get to work on a better project, right? But not only that, when you work on a better project, what happens? Well, you get better, right? So you improve, right? So that's the spiral that we want to create here, right? So that is the spiral, right? The spiral is the following. You start by improving. Oops, let me erase this so I can draw the spiral here. So you start by improving. So you're improving something. You learn a new technology. You experiment something about Java. You improve your skills. You code a little bit better. And because you improve, you get to work on a better project. Because you're working on a better project, you improve more, right? And because you improve more, you work on a better project, right? And that better project can be in your company. Your company puts you in a better position. It could be an outside company. It could be for friends. It could be for ex-geeks, right? That they do startups work, right? So then you get a better project. And then you improve more because you work on a better project. And then because you improve, you work on a better project. And that is the spiral that lifts your career up. Okay, mental health, that's the way you do it. Now, the problem is the following. That's the thing, mental health. Just because you improve, there's a lot of people that improve, but they don't get to work on a better project. Why? That's one thing that for a long part of my life, I was thinking, well, the guy's improving, right? He's getting more skills. Why he's stuck and not working on a better project? What's going on? And that's when it hit me. There is a missing link. So what is the missing link? When you improve, people need to know that you improve in mental health, so they get you in a better project. If your boss doesn't know that you're better, if your company doesn't know that you're better, if another company doesn't know you're better, you're not going to get a better project. So the missing link is sharing. Actually, let me write sharing here. So the missing link is, well, actually, it has to be right there but I'm just going to write here. It's sharing. That's the missing link. So the way you do mental health is you improve by doing exactly what you're doing, right? Working on Java, working on the code every day. So you improve. And then you share what you know. And because you share what you know, people hire you for a better project. And so then when you're a better project, you improve more. And then you share more. And you work on a better project more. And so you improve more. And that's how they spiral. So for the spiral to work, mental wealth, you have to share. And that is the way for you to build the spiral, right? So if you forget this link here, the spiral is not going to happen, right? The same way that if you don't get a better project, the spiral is not going to happen. If you don't improve yourself, the spiral is not going to happen, right? So that's the important thing. There is one thing, so that's the thing, mental health. So it's not only about improving, right? You gotta share what you know. The more you share what you know, the better you're gonna make this spiral. So you gotta improve, right? By doing. The only way to improve is by doing. So you gotta improve. And look, better projects, and share. Okay, 3 things. The cool thing, mental health, is that you might not be in control of a better. Well, actually, you are. Just thought about that. You are. You can start anywhere in the spiral, man. Really, you can start anywhere in the spiral. Why? Because improve is all up to you, right? You go, you study something, you do a project for yourself, right? You do something, right? You do. So improving is all up to you. You decide how much you want to improve. And so if you improve and sharing, you can start sharing right now, right? You can just open up your YouTube channel, open up your Twitter account, and you start sharing, right? Right now, you could go to Twitter and say, guys, I'm watching this great presentation, and Bruno mentioned the spiral of growth. So you're sharing something you just learned. You don't need to spend 6 months learning something to start sharing. You can start sharing right now. And also, working on a better project. Working on a better project, you can do this anytime you want. How do I mean by that? Because there are thousands, millions, maybe billions of open source projects out there. So at any time you want to work with the best people on the planet, you can just find an open source project that you participate at, and you can start participating. So for example, you want to work with Otávio, like an awesome developer? Well, just find out which open source project he works on and go work on that project. Anyone can participate in any open source project. So if you want to work with the best, all you need to do is go work on open source projects. So you, mental health, you can start anywhere you want and create the spiral yourself. You don't depend on other people to make that. Okay? Make sense? All right. So, Otávio, there's lots of questions here, man. I'm not sure. Should I just keep answering the questions? You're on mute.
Oh, technology. Sometimes I hate it. Yes, please go ahead. Let's answer all the questions.
All right. So let's see here. So Evandro says there are a big number of frameworks, right? Do you imagine that you'll be created many frameworks in Java yet? Is there a lot of opportunity for that? Okay, so look, let me ask one thing, Evandro. What do you think? Do you think that new problems are going to show up, or we already solved all the problems in the planet? What do you think, Otávio? Have we solved all the problems in the planet, or new problems are going to show up?
Yes, I think every single day, every single time, a new problem going to appear.
Right. So actually, the funny thing is, when you solve a problem, you create another one. Think about that. There's no way to solve all the problems, because once you solve one, you create another one. So every single day, Evandro, there's going to be new problems. And for new problems, we need new solutions. So yes, there's always going to be a new framework, always going to be a new project. There's always going to be a new API. There's always going to be a new something that will solve a problem that we didn't know we had, right? Because that's the reality. Once we solve a problem, we create other problems. So we did not know we had that problem because it did not exist yet. So once we create it, we solve it, a problem, others are going to show up. So yes, there's a lot of frameworks that are going to still show up, man. Don't worry about that. And technology will keep evolving. And there's going to be new programming language, new frameworks, new APIs, new libraries, new products, new projects. All of these things is gonna still happen because we always gonna have new problems. Okay, so yes, Evandro, there's a lot of opportunities there. So Evandro says, better project create an owner project. Well, you don't have to be building your own project, Evandro. The problem of building, yes, it's great, right? If you want to do a project, I love the idea. Go do a project. That's awesome. But the reality is, working alone on your own projects doesn't help you get better, right? It helps a little bit, but maybe you grow more if you're working with other people. So, for example, if I come here, if I'm a bad developer, like I'm a bad Java developer, and I come to work with Otávio, I'm going to be a better developer because I'm going to see what a good developer does, right? So now, if I'm a bad developer and I'm just working by myself, I'm going to improve, but it's going to be a lot slower, right? So be very careful for you to not only work on your projects, right? Because you need to work with some other people. You need to see what's a good project. You need to imagine a musician, right? That never listened to music, that doesn't know what's good music, that doesn't know what's bad music, that only listens to what he plays, right? I'm sure this person could be a good musician, right? Maybe, I don't know. But until you know what's good music, what's not, how can you improve, right? So that's something you got to think, Evandro. Go work with someone else, because I think that's a better way and a faster way to grow. Otávio, you've been doing open source for a long time, right? So what do you think about that?
That was the best way to learn anything, Bruno. That was amazing. I remember my first commit at OpenJDK, and I, as you know, I struggle with English, and they helped me a lot, even to learn to express myself in another language. I mean, even in my native language, was hard to me, harder that time. But it was amazing to me. That's why every single time that I mention about developer career, I mention, don't forget about be a good communicator, because if you want to be a senior, you need to share what you know with the juniors. If you want to be a CTO, you need to talk with your clients, you need to talk with the stakeholders, you need to talk with the final user itself. If you want to work only on the open source, we still need to talk with the executive committee in Java community process, the executive committee in Jakarta, Eclipse Foundation, Ash Foundation, Cloud Native Computing Foundation as well. So there's no way that you don't need to use your communication to express yourself, and try to do that better. That would be my advice number one.
That's awesome. I agree with you. Open source, participating in open source is totally awesome. So you guys should do that. Actually, another thing you should do, right? I think you should go up down here and like this channel, right? Like this video, right? I'm looking here. I see lots of people watching. Just 2 likes. Come on, guys. Go here. Just like the video right now. Whatever you are, whatever channel you are, just like the video. Not only that, subscribe to the channels, right? The X Geeks channel. Otávio is doing a lot of interviews. Rita is doing a lot of interviews. So you might want to subscribe to that channel. It's full content in English. My channel, you can subscribe to my channel too. My channel has most of the content is in English. We have a little bit of content in Portuguese from time to time also. So, go ahead, subscribe to the channel. I got to say that because, you got to, I'm not sure if you know that, right? But YouTube only, it's not just subscribing to the channel. YouTube doesn't think that you want to, oh, I subscribe to Bruno's channel. What YouTube? What do you think I want to do? YouTube says, no, you don't want to watch Bruno's video. You just subscribe to his channel just because he was his friend. You don't want to watch his video. So now YouTube forces you to not only subscribe but hit the bell button. So so then YouTube is going to tell you that there's a new video, right? So it's like, yeah, why would I subscribe if I do not want to see the videos, right? So yeah, subscribe, hit the bell button, and then every time we have the discussion, you can come participate. You can use that to improve your career, right? Actually, Gabrielle was asking about a mentorship. That is a mentorship, right? We are here answering your questions about your career. So if you don't ask your question about your career, How can we help you? So go ahead, ask on the chat so we can help you out. Evandro
There's
says,
one good question here. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
no, just a comment from Evandro here, Otávio, really quick. Evandro says, I would look for a partner to improve my skill, my project. Yes, Evandro, that's great, right? Look for someone that work with you, participate on someone else's open source project. That would be a great way of doing this. All right, go ahead, Otávio.
Okay, there's one question here. Hi, how can I keep with the latest development when my organization is stuck with the legacy version? That's a good one.
That's a very, very good one, right? Well, Otávio already answered open source, right? So open source doesn't depend on your company, right? It doesn't depend on your organization, right? So that's one thing you could do. But Subapi, I think, right? Subadip. Sorry, man, I'm probably making your Layak is easier, right? So I'm probably destroying your name here. I'm sorry about that, but Layak. So let me tell you one thing, man. You don't. First of all, yes, I know your company is stuck in legacy code, right? And I know that, and I work for banks, right? My consulting company has a lot of work with banks, so a lot of banks are using very legacy code, right? But that does not mean, Layak, that you cannot do interesting things inside your company. For example, I'm sure there are, your company uses legacy code on the production stuff, right? Now, there are tools that you need to use to be a better developer. So why cannot you use the best tools, right? So you can work with the best tools with that. The other thing you can do is, how about tools that you write yourself? As developers, we're always writing tools for ourselves, right? So you can use the most sophisticated technology to write the tools for yourself so you can be a better developer. So do that. Your testing, right? Your testing doesn't run in production. So why not your test? Why can't your testing be done on newer technology by using newer testing technologies to test your legacy code? That's not a problem. So there's a lot of opportunities, Layak, to get you to experiment with new technology. So for example, let's say, oh, Bruno, but my companies only use legacy code, right? Well, I want to experiment with new things. I want to do DevOps. I want to do cloud. I want to do containers. And my company doesn't do any of that. Well, you can install containers in your own computer, right? And develop your software using containers. So that way you have a database running on a container. You have your application server running a container. You have your testing running in a container. So you can automate a lot of the things you're doing in your own computer, right? So, if the company doesn't want to use that, you can use that. And when you do that, what happens? You improve. And then what you do, you go and you share, right? And then you share what you learned. You share how to do testing using containers. And then someone else is going to say, hey, Layak is a great guy. We need to do testing on a container in our company. And then you get to work on a better project. And sometimes, Layak, I've seen this, companies that are doing legacy code in your project, but there's another project that's very advanced, right? And the company say, hey, we're looking for someone that is able to do this new stuff in this new project. Hey, Layak, don't you want to move to this new project? I have a good friend of mine from India, Vipin, and Vipin, he started participating on OpenJDK, right? So he has code committed on OpenJDK today. So Vipin, because he was doing that and because he was sharing his company, I'm not talking about other company, his company, a big director in his company called him and said, Vipin, man, I'm reading your articles. I'm seeing what you're doing on OpenJDK, and I think you're amazing. Look, we need you working on the best project of the company. So here is a list of the best project in the company. Choose which one you want to work on. And so actually, that's very funny because Vipin did a reverse interview. He interviewed all the projects so to choose which one he wanted to work on, right? So that's a reverse interview process. Think about that, right? So yes, you can work on new technologies, Layak, even if your company is not working on new technology. And the more you do that, the more you're going to show up.
Okay, Bruno, there's one good question. And there's this link with Layak question as well. So what do you think about open source? So let's show here the question. Do you think open source is the best way to improve your networking, increase your job opportunities, and of course, your knowledge? because we are open to code reviews and how the good ones code.
So what do you think, Otávio? You're the open source guy here, man. I'm going to compliment your answers.
No, I mean my whole life is because the open source. I learned a lot of because of open source. I learned a new language because of the open source. If you remember, Bruno, my first time that went outside Brazil was because of the open source. So I helped the OpenJDK, and because of that, I won my first awards, and I don't remember the year. Sorry, but a long time ago, I guess 5 years ago, and because of that, I was recognized, and a lot of people know me, and people give me feedbacks about my code, and sometime after that, a lot of people saw my code in the GitHub and in presentation and articles, and I was start to be invited to these projects. I remember that I found my previous boss in the Java, and after my presentation, he talked with me about one product that he wants to put in production, and he was looking to someone who knows Cassandra. And get that guess what? That time I was committed in Apache Cassandra, and that was amazing because I could explore my knowledge, I could explore my networking, and also improve my English as well. So to me, open source changed my whole life.
Yeah, I totally agree. I totally agree with everything Otávio said. And now, one thing that you say, Gabriel, is that you think open source is the best way to improve your network, or increase your job opportunity. So I mean, so you ask lots of different things. Right? So Otávio already said how open source is great. Now let me tell a few things here. When you say is the best way to improve your network, yes, it's maybe, I'm not sure the best way to improve your network. I think that being able to talk with people and be face to face, going to events, for example, I think it's actually awesome way to improve your networking also, right? But and so to increase your job opportunities, the best thing that you can do to increase your job opportunities is share what you know, right? Because the more you share what you know, the more people know what you know. So the situation is the following. Once you share what you know, Gabriel, people know what you know, and they trust you in what you know. And so when they need what you know, they call you and not someone else, right? So let's think of this again. When you share what you know, people know you. When you share what you know, people know what you know, and they trust you on what you know. And when they need what you know, they call you and not someone else. That's what Otávio just said, right? Oh, I need someone that to work on Cassandra, right? I need to do a project with Cassandra. Who I'm going to talk? Well, I'm going to talk with the guy that does Cassandra, right? So Otávio is right here. Oh, you do Cassandra, man. But for that to happen, Otávio had to say, I'm an Apache committer at Cassandra project. Because if he did not say it, if he did not write an article about it, if he did not give a talk about it, then that person would never know that Otávio was the person to go after. Make sense? So yes, open source is amazing, but you have to complement that with sharing. That's what makes this spiral for it to grow. Okay.
Okay.
So
Bruno, before start, Rita, are you around? We have a good news because we got the 100 followers on Twitter. Rita,
Hello,
please tell
everyone
us the
again.
news.
Thank you so much, Otávio, and also Bruno, for everything. I'm so excited. I'm not a Java developer, but now I want to become one. So maybe I'll ask for your help. But thank you so much. And we're so happy that we've reached our follower number 100, or our 100th follower on Twitter. And we want to thank you all for following. So Maximilian was the number 100. So Maximilian, we already sent you a message on Twitter because we would love to send you a XKicks t-shirt to your place because we also want to thank you for this important milestone. And we wanted to share this with you.
And please don't forget to take a picture and
exactly. And tag
mention
us
us
and
on
share with
Twitter.
your friends.
Yes,
exactly.
yeah,
Thank you, Rita.
Aki. So So I know Max, he's always watching our lives here. So thanks a lot, Rita, for this gift. Hey, Max, awesome that you got this gift again, man. That's great. Thanks a lot, X Geeks. That's awesome. Otávio, there's one comment here. I'm not going to read the comments, but Junior Alves say, that's a pity. So Junior, let me tell you one thing. What's a pity actually, right? Is to be. I mean, I love the fact that we are all here having a conversation, right? So come here, let's have a conversation. So Junior, what we want is for you to benefit from this conversation. So ask a question, right? Instead of you saying what's bad, right? Don't care. People that are not here, that's their problem, right? So, but ask a question for you, Junior, because that's what's going to make all the difference. Is that when you are here with us, that you use this time to improve your career. So everyone that's watching right now, just ask your question. Let's have a conversation because we want to help you to grow your career. That's going to make everything is a lot more interesting. Okay. And then let me ask. I know Max asking a question here. Long question, Max. I'm kind of trying to get to that one in a minute, Max. But there's one question here from Mental Wealth. He says, "Do I have to be good in algorithms and data structure to be a good developer?" What do you think, Otávio?
It depends where you want to go. That's the answer to any kind of complex question that you have in IT, right? So if you want to be an engineer of open source projects or design a database, yes, we need to learn about that. For example, Cassandra has several structures inside Cassandra. For example, Bloom filter that is so advanced statistical algorithm in the database. However, you have a huge amount of piece in opportunity in IT. So you can be a dev hell, you can be a teacher, you can be a developer who writes code the CRUD operation itself. So it depends where you want to go.
You can work on integration, right? That's
yes,
a
you can work on
job integration, and actually there's very little data structures and algorithms when you do integrating systems, for example. So yeah.
And because IT is so huge, so there are some areas that you must know physics. For example, how to start the SSD because it's a tunnel that is one topic in physics in the university. So it depends where you want to go. If you want to work closer to hardware and stuff like that.
Yeah, I agree with Otávio. There's room for everyone, but you know what's going to make you a great developer is choosing a problem to solve and solve that problem. That's what's going to make you a great developer. Mental Wealth, right? Choose a good problem and solve that problem because that's going to make a big difference. For you to grow your career, for you to grow even a company, if you want to, find the biggest problem you can solve. Not the smallest one, right? Everyone can solve small problems, but find the biggest problem you can solve. Big problems have two like big categories, right? One is it's a very specific problem that very few people have. So, for example, like SpaceX sending astronauts to Mars, right? That is a big problem that very few people have. So if you solve a problem like this, you're gonna do very, very well. You're gonna be a very, very good developer. The second problem you can solve, the second type of umbrella you can solve, it's a small problem that lots of people have. If you solve that too, it's also a big problem because lots of people have. So, for example, flipping a burger, right? It's a very, buying a burger is a very easy problem that lots of people try to solve. But doing the same burger everywhere in the planet, it's a huge problem that McDonald's solved, right? So McDonald's is not a burger company. It's a real estate company. They rent spaces, right? It's a logistic company, right? That's a big problem to solve. Getting a taxi on the street, Very small problem, right? I mean, no one would have a problem just going to the street and put their hand like this. But solving that problem for millions of people, that's what made Uber so famous, right? So yes, look for a big problem for you to solve. Mental wealth, that's going to make a big difference for you.
And yeah, we have a good news. So you will also receive X6 t-shirt, Bruno.
Good. Thanks
You
a lot,
was not
Otávio.
the numbers 100, but you helped to get the 100 number. So
You see, I'm the guy that pushes people for the last mile, right? To make a difference, right? So that's good. Okay. All right. So 2 questions here that we got to work on, Otávio, before we have to leave. I mean,
okay.
If there's more questions, we're gonna stay here as long as there's questions. So Junior, I'm waiting for your question, man. Okay, make this count for you, man. Ask an awesome question that we can help you out with. What's your biggest challenge in your career right now, Junior? Because we're gonna help you out with whatever that is. And then Gabriel asks, how can I choose a topic to create a presentation? Right? I've written an article about functional interfaces, and it's released 1 month ago. I don't know, something old is a good option, right? It has to be something always new or something important, like Stream API, function interface, a good start. So here's Gabriel. Here is the best tip for you to write content. Solve a real problem, right? It doesn't matter if it's new or old, whatever it is, right? It doesn't matter. That's not the point here. You don't talk about things just to talk about things, right? You talk about problems. Solve a problem, Gabriel. Any problem, a small problem, a big problem, right? How do I solve my discussion with my neighbor? That's a problem, right? Lots of people have problems. So, talk about problems. Help people solve problems. And you're going to have always infinite content, Gabriel, because that's it, right? People are interested in content that help them solve problems. There's 2 types of content that are very, very important. That kind of, first of all, is entertainment content, right? There's no, it's no comparison, right? You get an entertainment content. What happens that it explodes, right? You get the top Java developers have like, I don't know, 100,000 followers on Twitter, right? At Java has 100,000 followers, right? 500,000 followers. You get any singer, right? Or any comedian, they have millions of followers, right? So it doesn't matter. So the point is entertainment sells, right? Entertainment is people want that because it solves a problem. People are bored. People want to laugh, right? People want to be happy. So it solves a big problem. And the other type of content is content that solves a problem, right? A real problem. So for us, it's hard to be entertaining all the time, right? I have a good friend of mine, André Noel, that teaches developers to be creative and entertaining, right? I gotta do his program so I can learn how to do that. But so go solve problems, Gabriel. Go solve big problems. Go solve problems, and it doesn't on your post doesn't need to be big problems, right? So, for example, little things that you can solve that there are real problems that people want. That's my advice to you. And okay, Junior asked a question. Yoo-hoo! Yes, we got that. So we're never gonna finish this, Otávio. I hope you have the rest of the afternoon here. It's nice for you. So you don't need to go to work.
It's even to me, yeah. But anyway, if you know Venka, he's a huge, famous speaker in the world, the Java world, and the most popular topics about Venka is mostly about King of 4 design patterns, and that's even older than Java. So there's no such old thing in the software world, right? So we're still talking about software development, still talking about design patterns, still talking about keys, keep it simple, and this kind of thing.
Okay, that's great, man. And actually, let me tell you one thing. There's one thing that Uncle Bob says that I think is very important, and he says that the number of developers doubled every 5 years, more or less, right? Every 5 years. So think about it. Every 5 years, half of the developers never heard any of the things that we consider important, right? Half of the developers, every 5 years, half of them never heard anything because they're new developers, right? So think about that. So it doesn't matter. Solving problems is what counts. Okay, Gabriel, solving problems is what counts. So I still gonna go back to Max's question, because Max's question is very complicated to answer. But there's a couple of questions here that's still about sharing, right? So Junior, thanks a lot, man, for your question. Awesome question, by the way. He says, I've been a developer for 8 years, and even though I have some experience, I'm afraid to share something that's not good enough. So what's the best way to start sharing knowledge? I know, Junior, this is really, really important, right? A lot of times we kind of think, oh, I have 8 years of experience, I got to share amazing things, right? Otherwise, people are going to say I don't have any experience. But look, Junior, let me tell you one thing. It's not about quality. It's about quantity. I want to tell you this. It's not about quality. It's about quantity, right? Because the more quantity you have, the more quality that becomes. All right? Let me show you this. There was a where's my here? There was an experiment done in an arts class, right? So arts is something that it has to be quality, right? So in an art class, so they got an art class and they divided the students, right? Half of the students and half of the students, right? So half of the students were the quality students. Their job, they're doing vases, right? So their job was to do a perfect vase, right? Painted and like made of clay, a very, very sophisticated vase, right? They had to do one vase that was perfect, or not perfect. Perfect's not the word here. One vase that was high quality. All right. So basically, by the end of the semester, they would show one vase, and if it was awesome quality, they would pass. If the vase was not quality, they would fail. Okay? Half of the class were the quantity group, right? So on that group, they would do by quantity. They would do as many vases as they could. And by the end of the semester, right, they would get a scale, right? They would get a scale, right? And they would put all their vases, all of their material here, right? Everything they did here. And if that scale was more than a certain weight, they would pass. There's no looking at quality at all. They're not going to see the vase. Just wait. Did you build 50 kilos of vase? If you did, you pass. If you did not, you'd fail. All right? And we don't care if it is good quality or not. It could just be a lump of clay, nothing else. You don't need to do a beautiful vase. You do anything, that's enough. Now the question, Junior, is the following. By the end of the semester, which group did the best quality vase? That's an interesting question. Which of those two groups, the one that focused on quality or the one that focused on quantity, which one did the best quality work? And the group that did the best quality work was the quantity group, right? That group here, the quantity group, did the most beautiful and the most high quality vases, right? And that is true for content. Okay, Junior, this is true for content. Your best content, you don't know how to do a great content. You don't, really. None of us do how to build great content. The people that build great content is because they build a lot of content. And some of those contents get shared a lot and explode, right? So it's not about quality, it's about quantity. right? So your job, Junior, is to do more content, more content, more content. And let me tell you a secret, Junior. No one knows you. Thiago says, how can I get visibility? You don't have visibility right now. So if you don't have visibility, who's going to watch your content? No one's going to watch your content, right? You're just look at your own comment that you did here in the video, Junior. No one's going to watch your content, right? So if you're afraid of doing a bad quality content for no one to watch, don't be afraid anymore. Just do content. Just, share whatever you can in whatever quality you can. And the more you share, the better quality is going to be. And then whenever people start paying attention at you, you're going to have awesome quality because you're sharing on quantity. All right. So just start, man. How do I get started? Well, start. Share something with your friend. So for example, let me give you an example, Junior. Right now, you're watching this presentation. Do you like this presentation? So how about you get this presentation, go on YouTube, on Twitter right now and say, hey guys, I'm watching this great presentation with Bruno and Otávio, with BR Java Man and Otávio Java, right? So I'm watching this great presentation. You start sharing. Some people are going to see, say, hey, let me click this and see what Junior is sharing here. And they're going to be better off in their lives because you helped them by sharing this content. Or maybe you saw friends that could not be here and he doesn't have time to watch the whole thing. You can say, man, let me tell you this thing. Bruno said, right, that quality is not what important. It's the quantity that's important. So how about we start sharing? So you help your friend by sharing something you just learned it, right? So you can start, Junior, at any point. Just start. Share with your friends. Share with your students. Share at the university you studied. Share at technical school near your house. Share on Twitter. Share on Facebook. Open up a video account on YouTube, right? That's what Thiago asks. How can I get visibility as a back-end developer? I mean, we cannot make a video or a simple post. Can we? Yes, you can. That's how you get started, right? You start with a simple video, a simple post, doing anything, right? Really solving a small problem. Remember, do a post that solves a problem. Those posts like, like so many people do, it's kind of sad. I did this in the past, right? So don't do that. It's very sad. It's very, very sad. Oh, this is Bruno, and here's my first post on my blog. I love to share those, I'm going to do this, and this is my blog. I'm so important. I think you should pay attention at me because I wrote my first post. Terrible. Don't do that, right? Share a problem. Share something you have. You are a back-end developer, Thiago. So what problem you had to solve last week? What problem you had to solve last month? Right? Was a big problem, a small problem, something that you spend 10 hours to solve, or something you spend a few minutes to solve? What problem you had to solve? Share that. Share something useful, right? Something that when the next person has the same problem, he can find your post, right? And then you start. Every single week you share content. Twice a week, every day, right? So I was having a mentorship right before this year. I was mentoring some people, and one of the guys said, and I said, look, guys, I have to finish here because I have this presentation with Otávio. And then the guy said, hey, Bruno, you have presentations every day. Yeah, I try to, right? I try to do presentations every single day, right? So if I can, I will present every single day. Why? Because it's about quality. It's about quantity. The more quantity you have, the more quality you have. The more quantity you have, the better you get, and the more quality is your content. If you don't ever share, whenever you share, even if it's a very, very important topic, it's gonna fall flat because you're not gonna have the quality to share good content. Make sense? So yeah, go share every single day. And yes, Thiago, you can share simple things. That's not a problem with that. Look, let's think about this. Twitter, it's one of the biggest companies in the planet, right? It's like, biggest startup ever, right? It's like one of the traditional unicorns, right? Billions of dollars, right? But what did Twitter do? Twitter solved that problem, Thiago, right? Twitter is a micro-blogging platform. What is a micro-blogging platform? It's a platform where you write small posts, small, simple posts. That's what Twitter is. It's a microblogging platform. So Twitter solved that problem you're thinking about, Thiago. He helped people like you and me start sharing by sharing small, simple posts. So start with that. You start with Twitter. That's a good start.
Bruno, unfortunately,
Yes.
that's an amazing conversation.
No.
However,
We
need.
still gotta answer Max.
Okay,
Still gotta
okay.
answer Max. There's no way, right? So yeah, I gotta do that one. Okay. All right. Max asked it. I was leaving that for the last one, Otávio, because Max already know what he's asking, right? Because we discussed that at So Java yesterday, right? So he already knows what he's asking, right? So, but he's asking for everyone else here in the group, right? He's asking to help everyone else. So, so let me talk about this, right? So so Max asked here in So Java Telegram channel, we had an awesome discussion about motivation plus discipline to improve our careers, right? So actually, we talk about, although the discussion was about motivation, right? What's behind it's not only motivation, right? Is basically willpower, right? The question was around willpower, because I have to force myself. I have to be motivated. That means I have to have willpower to do things, right? Oh, I want to share every day, but I don't remember, or I'm very tired, right? So how can I have the motivation? But actually the question is, how can I have the willpower to do every day, right? Junior saying thanks. Thank you very much. I thought just the opposite. I understand that, Junior. I really understand that, because I had the same feeling, right? That's why I wrote this little book, the little book of, actually, let me share this. That's why I wrote this. I wrote this little book here, about the low hanging talks, right? I'm gonna share this really quick here. I'm not sure. I'm gonna. Oops. All right. So Otávio, can you put my screen to show? Yeah, thank you. So download here, Junior. This the low hanging talks. It's a little book that helps you give easy talks, right? That book has 5 styles of talks, of presentations, that requires very little work from you. Really, very, very little work from you. So go take a look at that little book. It's going to help you start sharing by sharing small things. And you can share with your friends. You can share at your company. You can start sharing small things. That book's going to help you out very, very much. Okay, Junior? Now, all right. So let's get back here. But one thing that I understand is motivation, right? So, if I'm not motivated, I'm here. Oh, yes. Bruno said to go share, but I'm not very motivated. That's what we say, right? But the reality is that everything that's hard, our brain sabotages us, right? Our brain says, no, it's hard. Don't do it. It's too hard. So don't do it. So what we need is what we call willpower. Willpower is that thing that we have when we're motivated, right? When we're motivated, we have willpower to actually go and do things. Okay. So the question that we had on So Java yesterday was about motivation and willpower and discipline, right? So should you have discipline? And the reality is the following: what is more important? Is willpower, right, or discipline? What's more important? Willpower, discipline. But the reality is the only thing that changed your life is doing. It's doing. So the only thing that changed your life is doing every day. So once you have the discipline to do every day, that's the thing that changed your life. But the problem is, for you to have the discipline to change every day, to do things every day, you need the willpower to build that discipline, right? So you need willpower, you need motivation to build the discipline, and the discipline is what that's going to make you success. Okay, so with that in mind, how do we get discipline, right? How do we motivate ourselves? So discipline is Doing things, discipline is not like, oh, I wake up every day at the same time. That's not discipline, right? It's not. You don't have to wake up the same day at the same time to be a disciplined person. Discipline is for you to do things even when you don't want to do, right? When you do things just because you want to do it, that's okay. You can do this all the time. But when is that day you're tired, right? You had to, I don't know, you had to take your someone, your family to the hospital, and you spend the whole day in the hospital, and you get home very, very tired. You don't want to think about anything. Your head hurts. All of that. Discipline is on that moment. You sit down on your computer and you share a post. That's what discipline is, right? Discipline is like Venkat, for example, traveling with crazy times. I traveled with him all over Brazil. Crazy times, right? We would wake up 3 o'clock in the morning, right? We had a flight at midnight, right? So we had like crazy times all over. No control of what we had to do. And Venkat, every single minute, we have to wait for a Uber. The Uber is going to arrive in 2 minutes. Venkat would sit down, open his computer, and work for 2 minutes, right? Oh, then he closed the computer down, get up. Oh, yeah. Now we need to wait for 5 minutes to enter the stage. Venkat would sit down, open his computer, and work for 5 minutes. That is discipline, right? It's not doing things at the same time, right? Discipline is doing even when you're tired, even when you don't want to do, even when it's the world is falling around you. Discipline is doing it, right? So, how do we get that? How do we get to that level of discipline? There is one idea called science. You use science to do that. Everyone loves science, doesn't it, right? Oh, yes, we have to listen to science. So listen to that one, right? So science is what's going to get you to be, is the science of sticking with it. That's actually a great book, by the way. The science of sticking with it. The science of being disciplined. The science of doing. It's an acronym, right? So, the acronym is STEP letters. STEP letters. C is from community. I is from important. E is from easy. Oops, easy. N is from neurohacks. You can see, right? Yeah, a little bit. But C is from captivating or fun, right? And E is ingrained. So what does that mean? For you to do things every day, you have to use those 7 techniques for you to do things. Because our brains want us to not do. We are tired. I've worked all day long. My boss complaining with me about things, right? So all of these are the hard parts, right? So I don't want to do. So what's going to get me doing? Science, right? So first of all, step ladders, do small things. Your whole point is not to do big things, to do small things, right? So work 5 minutes a day makes a huge difference in your life. Bruno, I don't have time to share. Well, can you do 5 minutes a day? Yeah, I can. Bruno, I don't have time to learn a new programming language. Can you learn in 5 minutes? Can you do 5 minutes a day? Yes, I can. Okay, so 5 minutes a day makes a huge difference. A huge difference. You have no idea. Look, I've wrote several books with 5 minutes a day, right? I've got friends of mine that change their careers with 5 minutes a day, right? So 5 minutes a day can completely change your life. Of course, if you can do 10 minutes, that's better. But you got to start with 5. Right? But Bruno, I tried to start with 5, but I would fail. I could not do even 5. So do 1. You start small, right? Start small. Okay? That's step ladders. Community. Do with people. We talk about this, right? So Evandro here said, for example, I'm looking for a partner. Yeah, do with other people. Open sources like this, social medias like this. We do with people. So do with others. I'm sure if you have a friend of yours that told you, hey, let's program every day together at 10 and you agree with that, you would be there at 10 p.m. because you have other friends there waiting for you, right? Same thing, right? So community is going to help you keep honest with yourself. Important. There's no motivation if not important. The only way for you to be motivated, the only way for you to have willpower doing things is that it's important for you. So, for example, I'm sure you don't need motivation to wake up every day in the morning, take a shower and go to work, right? You don't need special willpower like, oh, today I'm too tired, I'm not going to do it, right? Why? Because you have an important thing. You receive a salary. If you don't do it, you get fired and your family's going to starve. Think about that of motivation, right? My family's going to starve? No way, man. I got to wake up every day in the morning and go to work, right? So you make it important. Make it important. Connect whatever you want to do with the most important things in your life, and that's going to help you a lot. Make it easy. Oh man, this is so hard, right? People want to make it hard, right? They think, Bruno, I want to learn the hardest thing ever, right? Or I want to do the hardest project ever. Come on, why are you going to do hard on you? If it's hard, you're gonna be demotivated because you're not going to be able to do, and then you're gonna stop doing it. So make it easy for you, right? Adjust your life to make things easy for you. Making easy is not being lazy. It's actually doing it, right? The easier it is for you to do, you're going to do it instead of not doing. So make it easier for you to do than for you to not do it. Make sense? So people say, yeah, I'm going to start exercising. So I'm going to register myself on this academy that is the other side of town. No, man. Register yourself in an academy that's close to your house, right? That you can walk there. That you don't need to get a car to go there, right? So that's making it easy for you. Okay. Neuro hacks. That's very funny. Our brains are always trying to sabotage us because our brains don't like change. Change is expensive for the brain because when your life changes, your brain has to change. So brain is hard. Your brain is it's sabotaging you. So you have to trick your brain. So tell your brain, look, I'm just gonna publish today, not tomorrow. So it's just gonna be one post. Like Junior said, oh, how do I get started? Just publish one post. Not two, just one. So once you put, and your brain's gonna be okay, I don't like change, but I can do one post. And so you do one post. So once you do one post, you do just one more, right? Trick your brain, reduce the fear, right? Your brain's afraid of change. So reduce the fear, trick your brain, use neural hacks to get yourself doing. Make it captivating. Captivating means fun, right? Make it fun, right? Why we have to do things that are not fun? Go do fun things, right? So you want to learn a new technology? Go do a fun project with it, right? Go do something that's interesting for you, right? Make it a game, right? In a way that you love to do. I remember when I was running, I hated running. Look, I used to run every single day, but I hate it. I never liked running. And so the way I would do is I would set a goal, right? And then in the middle of it, I would be very tired. And I don't want to continue, right? So I would play on a game in my head. I'd say, okay, so I was by that time I was watching the Walking Dead, right? That series. And so I would say, okay, there's a lot of zombies around me. I actually had on my phone a little zombie, right? That would tell me, oh, keep going, I'm gonna catch you, something like that. So I would say, okay, there's a bunch of zombies behind me. It's just one. I just need to run until that pole right there. It's just until there, and then I'll stop. And I'm gonna run a little bit more. And so when I pass that, oh, the zombies are still behind me. I'm just gonna run into the next post. That's what gets you going, right? Whatever your brain needs to get going, that's what you need, right? That makes a big. So make it fun. Make it fun for yourself. And last but not least, make it ingrained. Do every day. Things that you do every day are much better than things that you do once a week, right? So it's much better that you do 10 minutes a day, 15 minutes a day, than it is for you to do 4 hours on the weekends. So if you want to learn something, if you want to experiment something, experiment 15 minutes a day instead of 4 hours on the weekend. It's going to be a lot better for you because your brain needs the everyday thing. Your brain needs to do every day. All right. So how does this science works? The science works like this. You need to use at least 3 techniques, 3 strategies for anything you want to do. Anything you want to continue to do, you got to use at least 3 techniques. If you can use 4 or 5 or 7, better. But use at least 3 techniques. So, for example, you can say, well, I want to be a better developer, right? So you choose, okay, I'm going to do it together with my friends, right? I'm going to do 15 minutes a day, small steps. I'm going to make a game. All right, so that you're using 3. Now that you did 3, how about, I'm going to program my game every day, right? I'm going to make a game for my kids to play. So now it's important, right? I'm going to develop a game in a drag and drop language right now because I want to make it very easy for me, right? Or I'm going to develop the game on my lunch break, so I don't have to do anything fancy. And I'm going to use the APIs that I use in my job. Easy for me. And neuro hacks, right? You trick your brain by saying, I'm just going to do this one game, and when I finish, I'm going to do something else. Okay, so that's easy things that you can do to get your life going and be more disciplined and actually do more things. All right. Okay. So thanks a lot, Max, for a great question. Sorry, there was a long answer. That's why I was trying to answer in the end. But hopefully you guys use this technique science to get your career moving, to be more disciplined and do things every day. That's going to completely change your life for sure.
Wow, that was great, Bruno. Thank you again for your time. That was amazing. Thank you to help us to get 100 Twitter and 50 on YouTube. So both were amazing. Hopefully see you soon in this channel to learn more about career, Java, and history about development and the whole history about the software development itself.
All right. So thanks everyone. Thanks all of you for great questions. Thanks for the participation, everyone here. Thanks everyone in the X Geeks channel. Thanks everyone on my channels. Thanks a lot. It's great to be here with you guys all the time. Hope to see you again in the next time. Thanks a lot. And by the way, thanks Otávio for the invitation, and thanks Rita for the invitation too. You guys, X Geeks, are doing an awesome work with this effort of having videos every week. Congratulations for doing that. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, guys. See you next week.